Yeah, I'm from the county, ain't talking about jail. Money get counted, like I'm paying the bill. Straight out of Harris County. Talking about Houston, I'm in Georgia with dogs and tigers. I'm from the county, ain't talking about jail. Money get counted, like I'm paying the bill. Straight out of Harris County. Ain't talking about Houston, I'm in Georgia with dogs and tigers.
Hey, welcome to the Harris County Coaches Show here on Kudzu Sports and Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. I'm Rick Beach. Hey, we're presented this week by the CaroliteColin.org. Don't forget April 19th, the 5K in Ellerslie, Easter egg hunt, food trucks. Also going to be a fun run there. So it's a great event. It's going to be a lot of people there. We already understand that's a great organization going on, built out of tragedy, but we got to support this. We got to be out there. I think the entire county's coming. This week on the show, we got Coach Nesbitt with the Harris County Track and Field. We kind of had issues trying to set this up, man. Coach Nesbitt been going back and forth on, I'm busy one day, then he would be super busy. Track is on Wednesday, which is usually the open slot on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live, but we finally made it happen. Coach Nesbitt, you on there?
Here. Good to see everybody and yourself, Rick.
Man, I appreciate you getting on here. I was saying, it's taken us a few more weeks than we wanted it to. Me and you trying to line this up, but I know we've been excited about this.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to, talking about our kids and everything we got going on with track and field for the 2025 season. A lot of excitement going around the school, and we're off to a good start. And it's kind of crazy. We're almost halfway, if not a little halfway through the season with a little bit later start this year. So it's a pleasure being on. I look forward to talking about our kids and our program.
Yeah, now when we originally were going to talk, it's like right at the week before y'all really got started. And I was going to tell a little bit of the people, last year it's funny, y'all's season ended during graduation. It's like, everybody was kind of focused on the end of the school year. And I don't think people realize how well the girls track and field did last year and just how close y'all came to, the ultimate goal.
Yes, sir. With it being year 3 for me here at Harris County, just a little background about myself. This is my 12th year coaching. It'll be my 13th next year. I've been a head track and field coach for 5 years at Lambert. I was a co-head coach at Flowery Branch for 1 year, co-head coach for 2 years at Lambert, and an assistant my first year starting. So, and then obviously 3 years here. But yeah, just going into last year, being the second year, having state, going into Carrollton, obviously we kind of knew what kind of team we had throughout the season. We were winning big meets. We were scoring a lot of points. We were spread out around in different events, which is what I tell anybody that, wants to have a successful track and field program, or how you win meets is you spread yourself out amongst all the events, whether it's, jumps, throws, pole vault, sprints and distance and relay. So just the process of it last year, we were able to put it together a really good 4x1 team. We had the throws there with Hannah and Kanaya. We had the sprints there with Addison and Kylie and Shamari and Savannah. I mean, there was a whole group of them. Our distance with Effie, Melanie Anderson, Meg Anderson, Mary Elizabeth Drew. I mean, I've got a whole list of names. I'm probably missing some, so I apologize. We had the jumps with, Kendall and Savannah, and Autumn, and, obviously our relays as well, 4x8, all those girls 4x4. So as you can tell, we had a really, really strong team across the board, and people, we kind of came out of nowhere. I kind of knew that was going to happen. But, as our coaching staff and, kind of my vision for this program, going year to year, I wanted to, turn it around, get everybody on board, get the school community locked in. Hey,
yeah.
And track and field's a very, very involved, there's a lot that happens. It's very exciting. And if you don't really know, I mean, it kind of, it's kind of forgotten at times. And I don't mean that in a bad way or anything. But it's, coming to Harris County, not a lot of people were invested in it. And, I wanted to bring that excitement to the program. I've had great mentors in the past that have kind of, taught me and built me the right way, running meets, all that kind of stuff, everything that it takes to run a track and field program. I wanted, coming with Coach Watson for football, but also, I was a head track and field coach for a lot of years. When he came to Lambert, and I'd already been there for, several years, he looked at me his first year at Lambert. He's like, dang, man, like, you got this thing rolling too. So, when he took the job down here at Harris County, one thing led to another. I love both sports. I love every sport at Harris County, to be honest with you. I'm a big multiple sport athlete coach. I think everyone should get involved. But just going back to state, I know I can go on of different stuff, but, going into state, people kind of knew who we were going into it. Obviously Effie and some of our throwers and, coaches look at seeds and heat sheets and, all that kind of stuff, field sheets.
Oh, yeah.
They know what's going on. But at the same time, I'll never forget leading into day 2, it was a 3-day thing. Leading into day 2, we're showing up to Carrollton, day 2 morning, and everyone's kind of looking around like, who's this HC? Who's this, where did this come from? And we're leading the state in 4A going into day 2. You and I were communicating a lot through those 3 days, man. It was so much fun to be that close and to represent, Harris County and put them in that spotlight. And like I said, I mean, I don't do it for myself. It's just something I'm passionate about. I love. I really, really love seeing kids experience what they got to experience at Carrollton, and just knowing coaches from around the state and track and field for, doing as long as I've had. It was cool seeing guys, because they had 7A. It was 7A and 4A there. Well, when I was at Lambert, we were 7A. So I got to see a lot of coaches that, I worked with for a long time. And, they knew I had taken the job down here. And in 2 short years, here we are. I mean, 2 short years, here we are competing for a state championship. So it was cool, man. A lot of kids got a lot of recognition. Effie, won state and 16-32. But the biggest thing is we scored a lot of points. And what people don't realize is we've got a group coming back this year that, we've got potentials to win multiple state championships in different events, but we also are bringing in a team that is going to be in that top 8, which is where you score points. So 8, if you finish 8th, you score 1 point. So like, that's where you win state championships.
Get more people in that top 8.
Yeah, getting your event spread out, having a thrower like Hannah, having a a high and triple jumper like Alana and Kendall and Autumn, having your sprinters like Addison and Kylie and Shamari, and we've got some young ones that are coming up too that are people are going to find out who their name is this year too. So and just throws and distance. I love the distance program here. You've got to have a really, really good distance program to compete at this level. And, having Effie and then those girls in the 4x8, it's just exciting. And we kind of going into last year, we lost by 2 points. It was it was devastating.
So close. It was so close.
We were so close, and I'll never forget. We lost to Lithia Springs by 2 points. We lost to Lithia Springs by 58-56, and I just saw them celebrating with that trophy in their hands, man, and I'll never forget it. I knew the team we had coming back, and I knew we had some young athletes coming up from middle school, and then you always kind of you never know, you may have a kid come out that that may not have ran the year before, or they're in 8th grade, or they moved
just
in.
Hit that growth spurt, kind of hit that maturity.
Yeah. And, when that happened, man, and the girls knew it too. I mean, I tell them a lot weekly. I said, we have unfinished business, and, to be that close and to have a young team like we have, that was kind of my mindset. As soon as we lost, man, I was like, my mind was already set on May 9th and 10th 2025 because the opportunities, and coaches know this, the opportunities to win a state championship in any sport is very, very difficult. So when you have these opportunities like this and a run like this, and, you got your seniors that are helping out that are about to leave, but then you got some young, athletes that are really, really contributing and helping, like you got to take advantage of it. And, that's where we are right now. We've got several, we got a lot of girls that are going to come back next year. And it's just exciting. The season's gone on really well. And I'm going to go back to the boys real quick. We've got several boys. Our boys program is kind of turning a page now. We've had 2 successful meets the last few weeks. Rico Brown, he's leading 4A and triple jump right now. We've got several young 400 and distance runners, Marcos Traverso, Jordan Satterwhite, Colson Brennan. And like I said, I may be leaving out names, and I apologize to anyone who's watching. I've got close to 100 kids, so I do my best in a lot of events. So, I'm doing my best to, not leave anyone.
You got the boys and the girls program. You got to try to get a lot of names.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
I got a name. You mentioned it to me, and I seen him on the sheet. You shot put on the male side. How about Josh Jones coming out?
So Josh, JJ, he's currently top 5 in the state in shot. Braxton Love, those are 2 pieces through football and them being seniors. They love track and field. They love shot and disc. It's another outlet for them to compete in another sport.
Yeah.
It keeps them busy. But they love it. I'm expecting them to do a lot of big things this year too on the boys side. And I'm just going through some names, if that's okay with you.
That's perfect.
I said
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So like I said, Kendall and Autumn McCory, I forgot about her. Her and Kendall should make it to state in triple jump. Rico and long in triple. Our girls high jump. So Kendall does triple and high. And she should be in the state meet. Alana Coulter does high jump. And then I've got on the boys side for high jump, I've got some youngins, freshman and sophomore and one junior, but Miles Robinson, young freshman coming up, Willie Jones, and then Ty Coverson. So I got 3 boys that are high jumping that are young, but they have a lot of promise. And that's the most important thing. Like I've got some of these young football players too as well. I see them every morning and they've all bought in, and it's been really cool to see guys like Miles and Ty and Willie, kids like that. And that's something I've noticed from my first 2 years at Harris County to this year is like the kids are kind of starting to realize like, hey, like this is an opportunity for me to get even more exposure. So like I tell a lot of the kids, I'm like, man, you could have decent like film in basketball or football or even flag football, girls basketball, anything. And a lot of these college coaches will come and watch you at other events.
Oh, yeah.
And you could not have an offer in a sport and you could go high jump 6'6", and you could get an offer from that. And it's all about giving yourself more opportunities and chances. So I really try to preach that to the kids. Give yourself more opportunities. Give yourself more opportunities. These college coaches want to see what else you're doing. They don't want to see you just doing sports. So
they'll ask you. They'll ask for track film. A football coach will say, "Hey, you got any film of him running track?"
Yeah,
and that's how important it is because you can see so much about the athletic ability, their burst and stuff like that. So I've had and have heard, track or football coaches say, "Hey, let's get some track film on a certain player." So it is that big of a deal. And
it's times too. So they look at their time. It's they're big 1 to 200 guys. But also the 400, man. The 400's a beast, and if you're a multiple sport athlete and you're running a good 400 time, I mean that's a testament to your speed and your endurance. So that's one of the biggest things that I think our kids are starting to buy into. That may have been a little bit different my first year at Harris County. Is giving yourself more opportunities to play more sports. I talked to a lot of different coaches, obviously around the building, and that's been very positive. So, that's just one of the things that I've noticed with our kids now is, I'm seeing these young athletes come out, and you don't know where they'll be in 2 years. And they're young and they don't really know that yet. I mean, some of them do, but they're young. I mean, they're kids. So like they don't quite know. And, that's the joy I get out of track and field is, I get to experience coaching from all different levels of, kids, distance athletes, throwers, jumpers, sprints, mid distance, all that kind of stuff. So, my big thing with track and field that I tell a lot of people is like, I've had multiple kids come in as freshmen, super unathletic, not really, not coordinated, but they find a way. And you look at them as seniors and they're signing a scholarship somewhere.
Yeah.
And they found a love for the sport. And, I've had a lot of kids be like that. And that's what I really enjoy and see.
Yeah.
And that's why I love doing it. It's just so many different types of athletes that come out for track and field. And then you got your athletes that play other sports that do it to help themselves
for that sport.
and they're winning and they're competing. I was a multiple sport athlete in high school. I ran track all 4 years. And I loved it. So, I'm a big, I'm a big time believer in even with football, track, anything, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to be highly invested in it. And
absolutely.
And I think the kids have really bought into it. That our staff has been incredible. Coach Ellis, Coach Kiefer helping out with distance, Coach Wink coming out now, with Coach Brooks leaving, with Coach Winks coming up, stepping up. He's been a great help. Coach Holbrook and Coach Mason helping out with throws, and then Coach Chapman helping out with our jumps and our pole vault. So as you can see, when I took over at Harris County, I just said, hey, I'm going to need to be successful and have a good track program. You got to have a good staff.
Absolutely.
And that's how, I go back to spreading out your events, how you win meets. So when you have coaches at spots daily working on jumps, working on throws, working on hurdles, working on blocks, relays, sprints, everything, it really, really does help. So, I've taken what I've learned from the years of coaching. Like I said, I've had great mentors, Coach McCormick at Lambert. We used to host a lot of meets. I was a young buck starting out. And he kind of slowly knew. He had some young boys in middle school to where he knew, he was going to end up giving it to me down the road. And he saw a lot of promise in me and just kind of taught me the ropes for a couple of years. And, we ran meets at Lambert, and, I kind of just take what I've learned from other coaches and applied it to Harris County. And another coach, Coach Walker at Stars Mill, who just retired, who was a powerhouse track and field program and still is. He was my coach in high school. So if that says anything, he just retired. He's been at Stars Mill for a long time, and just having really good mentors in the state, having a good relationship with all the coaches. I'm big on that. I think our coaching community is very important. So I've built a really, really good relationship with a lot of coaches around the state. So just having that background, those mentors to kind of help me out. I mean, I couldn't do it without them. I'm very, very, just my personality. I'm very appreciative of people that lead you and mentor you.
Get you where you are.
And also, Coach Watson as well. I mean, he's been a huge mentor for me, kind of coming in, wanting to change the culture at Harris County High School, and him allowing me to do that and be a part of it. It's been really, really, it's been awesome. And, coming into Harris County with a program that has a lot of potential. When I was at Lambert, it was kind of, when I took over, it was kind of just already well run. I mean, it was already going. So when I had the opportunity to come down here, in my career, I was like, man, this is a really, really cool opportunity. It's new for me. It's me, trying to turn a program around. So it was just different. And, I took on that challenge and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, here we are in year 3, and man, we are rolling, and it's a lot of fun, man. We are, the culture that's going on with track and field, we're very invested, and the kids know that. And, you know, at meets, when we go to different meets, you know, how our kids are, you know, how we represent Harris County. I mean, it's not just running track and field and throwing all that kind of stuff. It's really, you know, life lessons. I mean, I know it's cliche, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, communication, responsibility, you know, ownership, winning, failing, like all these things that these kids are learning. You know, I've all been through it, you know, coaches that have been athletes before. I mean, we've all experienced the same things that they're going through. So you try to teach them how to handle things, positive, negative, just thinking. Like I said, you know, it's been awesome. And I've really enjoyed it, and we're looking to really do some big things here come April and May. So, and we're off to a good start. So.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned the life lessons you learned. That's the whole purpose when they started high school sports years and years ago. It was an extension of the classroom. You
Yeah.
learn, you know, you're learning book smarts during the day. Then after school, you go learn life lessons. And, you know, I wrestled in high school for, 3 years, and I think that was the best accountability. You learn responsibilities. You know, it's on you to make weight. When you're on the mat, nobody can help you. And you just learn
Yeah.
those things that, years and years down the road, you always take that with you. And I
Yeah.
think, people that, if you're not playing the sport, if you play fall sports, track and field. I mean, that should be where you go. It, whether you compete or not, you're working out, you're doing
Yeah.
drills, you're getting yourself better, especially
Yeah.
football, flag football,
Yeah.
basketball is a winter sport. But I mean, you got Cricket Collie came out this year
Yes,
running
sir.
some track, and you look at all the sports she's already played, and she's out there competing, and she's staying in great shape
Yes.
for some other sports, and she's going to compete because that's what she does. Is
Yes.
she finds something, she puts her mind to it. How she's been doing this year? I mean,
She's
she's the first year track as a junior.
Yeah, well, so she didn't run last year,
Yeah.
but she came out her freshman year.
Yeah.
So from freshman year to now, and just kind of with her football career and how that's gone, you know, I think it's awesome that she has decided to come back out and run. You know, our workouts and what we do on a daily basis. I mean, it's going to help her. I mean, it's going to help her tremendously going into next season, and even for college recruiting, like I spoke about earlier. I mean.
Yeah.
They see, college coaches for flag football could come to the state meet and watch her compete, you know, and that's what it's all about. Like I said, like if she wasn't doing that, that's a less opportunity for a college coach to go see her.
Right.
So she's been phenomenal. She's going to be part of our 4x1 team. She's part of our 4x2 team. She just got added to our 4x2 team. We're right in the top 15 in our 4x2 right now. So I'm slowly kind of piecing some things. We were 8th at one point, but I'm slowly working to piecing some things together to hopefully where we can have a 4x2 team in that state meet. So I'm in the process of doing that. She does sprints as well, but man, she is great to have on the team on a daily basis. She comes to work. She's positive. She's super involved with all her teammates. She helps out when needed. She's always asking me, "Hey coach, do you need help? What do you need help with? I'll help you." And that that speaks volumes on her. And you know, she's a spectacular athlete, and like she is as cool as a cucumber. She's level-headed. She has a great personality, and like that's what's awesome to see. I mean, she's going to be very successful when she leaves high school, but having her is going to be a piece that's going to be huge come April and May. So she's been great, and y'all will hear her name here in the next couple of months. So
track, the program, I mean, you've really taken off with it. I mean, you mentioned year 2, now we're year 3, and we're, the expectations are there, which is, I know as a coach, is something you want it to get to. You don't want it to be just ho hum. But one story I wanted to tell on you goes to football, and this is what and it says a lot about
what is this story? Tell me.
So Russell County a couple of years ago. Now remember, you Coach Watson coming down that first year, the 2-9 year. Everybody, there was people were talking, and then we lost the opening game by like 20 points to Troop. And you told me on the field before Russell County, we win this game, you're going to see a change. Like there's a change happening. Either we win this game, then won it on a walk-off field goal. Then Harris County won 11 in a row, went to the Elite Eight. And I always think about it. You said if we can win this game and get hot, we're going to get rolling.
Yes, sir.
And it's like, he just talking. We just lost 9 games. We've lost 10 out of 12. He
Yeah.
just talking. And one of the reasons you said it, and I'll go ahead and put you on the spot. You said Coach Watson, like he's changing this culture, and I
Yeah.
believe in this man, and we're about to get hot.
Yeah.
And we won those. And I always think about that. You wasn't saying it like a rah rah. You wasn't being Johnny rah rah. You was dead set on. You've seen how hard these guys have been working
Yes,
and
sir.
what they're about to put out. And I always think about like that was so on point. You read the
Yeah.
team, and that momentum's still going. I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
go to practice and see the buy-in is
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, it's at
Yeah.
everything. They're not halfway doing anything in that indoor in the mornings.
No. And like I said, going back with that, it's the culture in the whole school building.
Yeah.
And in all sports, and that same kind of culture. I know. I mean, like I said, Harris County is a phenomenal school district, man. It's been incredible for my family and I here the last 3 years. I mean, we have absolutely loved it. I mean, I have loved it ever since I came and visited. My wife and I drove down here. I tell people this all the time. When we drove down here and we did that little cut through between the football field, baseball field, and the indoor to the middle school, and my wife and I are driving, and I'm looking back and forth, left and right, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like just the space, the vision that I had with track and field, hosting these big meets. We just got done hosting the Tiger Invitational, which is our second year. We had 10 schools here. I had a bunch of emails from people just very thankful, and man, you put on a really, really good meet. And, I mean, that's what I want to do. I mean, that's what I'm passionate about. I really, really want to help this community. I want, year one with track and field, people, I mean, we're going to host meets. I was like, yeah, I want to host meets again. And, it takes a lot of time and effort and work. But I also I reached out to schools in the Columbus area just around us. I said, please, I would love to have you guys. At year one, I had people reach out. We did have, 3 to 4 schools at each our Wednesday meets, but the commitment level wasn't quite there because people didn't really know. They weren't sure. Yeah. We went through that first year. I didn't want to have a big Saturday invitational meet because we weren't quite ready for that. We went to year 2. My email starts blowing up a little bit more, in November, when schools start reaching out about, hey, can we come to this meet? Because I get all our meets. I get all our meets out early. That's just something I've always done. I like to get it out on mile split. I get it out early. I get our schedule done and get it done. So, and there's some teams that don't do that, which it is what it is. But I'll be getting.
Well, you mentioned earlier how you was taught well by your mentors.
Yeah. So, I'll not to go off topic. I'll get someone contact me like last week about getting a meet, and it's March. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're full. But just going back to year 2, I got more involvement. We had the invitational. It was really, really good success. And then this year, man, it's like I said, even more. And that's what I wanted, and it's starting to happen. And I wanted an area, and Harris County's got the facilities to do it, the space to do it, to hold big meets, to have a bunch of schools here. Going into year 3, it's starting to, it's branching out, and the word's getting out, and man, Harris County runs a great meet. You're in and out. You're not there all day. You're not there all night. And we're efficient. We're organized. We're planned. Our staff does a great job. We all work together. We work well together. But that's kind of, like I said, all these things that I visioned 3.5 years ago when I drove on Harris County's campus in March, going into spring football and all that kind of stuff before I officially came down, is I had a vision and, a plan. And like you were saying with Coach Watson and the culture of the school and just the athletes and the kids. And like you've even said it since I've known you, it's you said, it's a sleeping giant.
It was about 3 years ago. I think it's woke up now.
Yeah. And, it's just, man, the atmosphere in the school building throughout the day. I mean, these kids, they know, us as coaches are invested in their success. And, man, it's just day in and day out, it's just gradually improving. And like I said, man, it's a fun ride. And, I don't plan on it stopping anytime soon. But yeah.
Yeah, the facilities, it was crazy. The other night, we was broadcasting a soccer game, while a baseball game was going on and tennis was going on, and there was no, traffic jams or no. I mean, everything was running smooth.
Yeah.
One would get out, and everybody, you see people leaving. Some people would come over to the soccer game from tennis when it got out, and it was just incredible to see that
Yeah.
not many high schools can pull that off. And
Yeah.
it's not just planning them; it's how efficient everything's run. It's well planned out. I think it's the school, the whole administration from Miss Snyder
Yes.
and MJ.
Oh
They
my
just run it phenomenally, and it's just a testament to how well from Miss Snyder to MJ to the coaches is just on point, and how well y'all do with it.
Yeah, no, it's I thank you for bringing up our administration. Like I said, Miss Snyder and I, we interviewed and met a few years ago. Man, I loved everything about her. Man, she's incredible. She's all invested in the kids, inside the building and out. She comes to a lot of our events. She's
Yes.
kids, man, and MJ's an incredible AD. We are on a we talk daily. She's phenomenal, man. She's the best athletic director I've ever worked for. Super supportive, transparent, tells you what you need to hear. We have a great relationship, and you can't do it without them.
No.
And every coach says that, and great AD, great administration. They're all super supportive. Like when we were at state last year, getting those text messages throughout the day from you and just, our administration and, checking in on us and the excitement we were getting back from the community. It's just awesome, and the kids in track and field, they feel that, and they see, myself and our coaches really pushing out, their accomplishments. And, they're going to work hard for you when they know you're invested in them. But yeah, like I wanted to go, and I wanted to kind of go back a little bit to some of these kids.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Because I had a list, and then we got off, like we just kept talking. I forgot, but it's okay.
Yeah, this is what when we started doing this coaches show, I told Thrift at Georgia Alabama Sports Live, I want to promote the coaches and the kids.
Yeah.
Whether the kids want to come on the show or the coaches read the entire roster. I
Oh,
don't care. If you want to talk about your kids, we'll sit here all night and let you put them kids over.
Yeah. So just where I left off, talking about our high jumpers with Miles, Ty, and Willie. But pole vault, Molly Record was a state qualifier last year. She's a senior. She's been a part of this, program since she was a freshman, but I've known her since a sophomore. So, she's phenomenal. She's going to do great this year. Looking to see her go to state in pole vault. Addie Zerner, big pole vaulter, super athletic. She's part of our 4x200 team. Another young one, freshman. We got another 3 years with her, and she's getting all this. That's, like I said, we got these young athletes getting a lot of exposure at these big meets. So, Luke Ushery is another boys pole vaulter that's looking to do some good stuff at region and hopefully sectionals. Girls shot and disc, Hannah Huff placing sixth in state last year in shot, and then fourth in discus. She's currently second, and I may be off a little bit. She's currently second in shot and second in disc right now. But it's March. It's early March.
And she's a sophomore. I mean,
she's a sophomore. So we got 2 more years.
Incredible.
She's a phenomenal girl too, man. She talk about she's a great kid, man. Super great kid. I know she does flag football as well.
Yeah.
But she's super committed. She loves track and field. So I'm looking to see her do some really, really good things. I'd love to see her put a ring on her finger for one of her events, man. She works hard. And then, going to boys shot and disc, talking about, JJ and Braxton. We got some girl hurdlers coming up. Nia Riley, Ashlyn Steers, who just moved from Texas. Molly's working on hurdles too as well. So she may come out in April and qualify for sectional. So there's a lot of and I'll keep going. That's another thing. We're in a time frame where we're slowly piecing things together now. But there's also some things that may pop up between now and April. And that's the crazy thing about track. You're kind of putting the pieces to the puzzle. You're putting certain kids in certain situations and see how they perform in certain meets. And then, our goal always, and our staff knows this, by the end of March, we are we're at a point where we kind of know what we're getting into in April and May. And that's the goal. I do this every single year and I've gotten better with this. My first, probably 5-6 years of coaching track and field, you start in January and you're like, man, I don't know how we're going to be. I really have no idea. Are we going to be okay? Are we going to be that bad? I don't really know. And I've learned over the last several years. I mean, nowadays, each year now, even this past year, several years, I don't worry too much about it anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happen on the track and on the field between January and May. So, in years past, I get all worked up, but, like I said, that's kind of our process. We're in that process now of piecing a few more things together. But then once we get into late March and going into region, we're full tilt with our team. I was going to just go back. I got, a few things, with our 4x1 girls. What do I have here? We've got 3 returning from last year's 4x1 team. Savannah was the only one leaving. We got Addison, Kylie, and Shamari. So that's 3 out of our 4 relays, but we have the talent from our younger girls to where we're not really skipping a beat there.
Plug that gap.
Yes. For our 4x1 boys have 3 of the 4 returning. Our 4x200 girls are really coming on strong. That was kind of an area that we needed to improve on last year. I'm very, very pleased at where we are with our 4x200 team. Our 4x4 team is right now, our girls are ranked first in 4A in the state in our 4x4 team. Our girls 4x8 is first in the entire classifications. So 1A through 7A, our girls 4x8 team is ranked first. So I've got, as you can see, in our distance with Effie, and we're deep in distance, man. Meg, Melanie, Lila, Mary Elizabeth, Effie, Janelle, and I'm hoping I'm not leaving anyone out. Like I said, I got a lot of kids. We're just deep. We just, like you said, in order to win meets, you got to be spread out, man. And this team is both our girls and boys. When we go to meets, you see HC all around the track meet. So when there's a bunch of events going on, there's a kid in every event competing. And that's what I really, really wanted to have.
Yeah.
And it's happening. And not only are we all spread out, but we're winning,
competing,
which has been phenomenal. And then just I got a few things from last year. We won a region championship, first ever region championship in girls history. I did a lot of research. I asked MJ, Coach Chapman, that have been here for a long time. I said, we look back as far as we could. There's no sign of it at all. So, I'm about 100% sure, that was the first region championship for girls track and field, which was huge. We broke 13 school records last year. We're already, speaking of school records, we were breaking school records already, and it was at the end of February this year. So our kids are breaking their own records.
Quick.
We had 12 region champions between our boys and girls team last year. We had 13 sectional qualifiers. We had 12 state qualifiers, and then 6 out of those 12 at state medaled. So it's a good time here, man. It's I like I said, I enjoyed. Our kids are invested. They're locked in. The culture's there. But I encourage anyone, like I said, to come see us practice. Come see us practice, come to a meet. We got a home meet March 19th, and I know you post it weekly. Yeah. We got our next home meet's March 19th, and then we got another one on the 26th. So the end of March, we'll be at home back to back. We've got a big meet Saturday, the Chick-fil-A Invitational at I'm drawing a blank.
Eagles Landing, ain't it?
Yeah. Thank you. Eagles Landing Christian. There's going to be over 50 schools there. All classifications, but it is a good measurement tool for where we are as a team. So our kids are locked in. This is, when I got here and wanting to get these kids in big meets, getting them the exposure, traveling. We're going to 9-10 meets a year. which is a lot, but it's good. It's getting all of our kids, and that's another thing. It's getting all of our kids meets to compete. So, we've got that big one coming up. If we could come away with a win at this Chick-fil-A Invitational for our girls with all classifications there, man, that's going to be really, really special. That's the goal. But going back to like the meets, we host a lot of meets. I schedule a lot of meets throughout the state. We've gone to McEachern. We've gone all over the place. The kids love it. I mean, because you're competing against all classifications at those huge meets. And like I said, it's giving them exposure. And then I also do a lot of meets because certain meets have entry limits. So like this big one coming up Saturday, you can only put in three entries per event and like one relay.
Okay.
So, we've got a team of around 100 kids. So it's very important to me. And, this is from my background and being at Lambert and all this kind of stuff. I don't do any cuts. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I just host a lot of meets, and I host them at the school. Because you never know what might happen with a kid that's a freshman or a sophomore. That might have been cut from another school that does cuts, or and you can in track and field is interesting. You can kind of get away with that. And football doesn't do any. It's one of those sports where you don't have a limited number.
Right.
But I choose not to, and a lot of schools don't. But I host all those meets because some of those meets are unlimited entry, so it gives all our kids to run their events that they want to run. Like when we host them at the high school, all our events are unlimited entry. So that's a good time for all our kids. I try to make it 50-50, so everyone kind of gets an equal amount of meets, which is super important for me and, the kids and the parents and everyone involved to allow to see their kid compete at an early level. So
yeah, it makes it worth it for the kids, and like you said, for the parents that picking them up late all the time, they get to go watch their kid compete.
Yeah.
So that's March 19th is the next home meet that people
March
come out to, which is also signing day. So that's a pretty good day for the county altogether.
Oh yeah. It'll be our youth night.
Good.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Myself and Coach Johnson talk all the time. I go talk to the youth parents at their practice, just introducing myself. Just showing that we're invested in every aspect of it. So I'm having that youth night to show them, showcase them. I'm working on hopefully allowing like them to run 100 or 200 meter in front of the crowd. Want to see all those little jokers out there running. I'm super excited. And I couldn't imagine being their age running it. I mean, I remember that it's going to be so cool for them.
Yeah.
So we got our youth night then, and then obviously our senior night, the last the 26th. And then we go to, after spring break, we go to the Westminster relays, which that's another big meet because there's quite a few of our region opponents in that meet. And then there's a lot of 4A schools that are, top 10, top 5.
Okay. So kind of see where you're stacking up against them.
Yeah. Like Westminster's one of them. So Westminster girls are real strong. Marist, Pace, all them.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's important. It's our job to do that. I want to get them up there, and kind of see where we're at and gauge. So, but yeah, no, the whole deal's fun, man. I love it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on this week. We're going to get out of here now. It's Friday now. So tomorrow, when this is posted, everybody will be at Eagles Landing, the big Chick-fil-A meet. So I can't wait to get them texts from you showing how well we're doing, and hopefully get some big wins in these all classifications. Coach, appreciate you coming on. That's all we got this week. We'll see you next week on the Harris County Coaches Show. Go Tigers.
Yes, sir.